we're going to talk a lot about some address position. We're going to talk a lot about how things have changed a reasonable amount with more data that we have.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm a bit lucky because I get to work with some very, very cool people on and off the golf course.
Yeah. I mean, I used to get lessons when I was back in uni, and the computers back then were so basic.
Yeah. So
it's hard to see the swing properly back then. But
so the concept here is we'll get you set up a little bit better.
yeah,
We'll get you set up with a bit more pressure on your left foot. So roughly from the force plate data that we have, we know that there's about 55% into the left foot at address.
Yeah.
And then you rotate from there. And if we start to get lateral movement at all, we'll change the contact point with the ground.
Yeah.
In its simplistic version, it's a little bit more difficult than that. But essentially, if you move the hub, you'll change the contact point with the ground.
Yeah.
So then you're going to manipulate it the whole time. So we'll talk about how weak that grip is as well.
Yeah.
We're going to strengthen that sucker up pretty
Cool.
nicely. And then we'll start to go from there. We see that first moving off the golf ball.
Yeah.
Now, when I first learned how to play, and no doubt when you first learned how to play, we got told that we had to move over our right side.
Weight transfer and all that.
That's correct, yeah. So there's a difference between centre of mass and centre of pressure, right?
Yeah.
So the centre of mass has got to stay there.
Yeah.
The centre of pressure moves, and that's because of rotational force, because you've got a massive lump of metal in the end of a golf stick, yeah?
Yeah.
From the shaft. So, that will move the pressure in your right foot, not you actually laterally moving.
Yeah.
Okay? Because in 2/100ths of a second, you've got to get from there back to here, and that's got to time it, sequence it at the right place as well.
Yeah.
So consequently, then you start to lift your arms up, and we've got an extraordinarily steep forearm plane there, and quite a flat shoulder plane, but we'll get to that in a second. And we detach our arms from our body.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we know that we're going to get very, very vertical on the way down.
Yeah.
Okay, rather than being probably coming from there.
Yeah.
All right. So that's why you couldn't work out why you were hitting some weird and wonderful shots. Given the fact that that's where this, we talked about that minus 10 there before. That's your club path working across that way, right?
Yeah.
So, my job is to get you feeling almost like you're going to take out the mirror behind you, get you a bit more stable. Our little friend Newton says if you push into the ground, it's going to push equally and opposite back at you. So if you've moved laterally so much and you've got a lot of pressure in that right foot, you've got to hit a lot of golf balls to make that work.
Yeah.
My preference would be to keep some more pressure in there, which to you is going to feel like you're reversing.
Yeah.
It feels like it's going to be going that way. Okay. More than likely it won't. Okay. So when we bring up some reasonable players, this kid came second last week in Nanshan.
Yeah.
Jun Suk's a really good ball striker. Really good ball striker. Not a big guy by any stretch of the imagination. They really don't move that laterally.
Yeah.
Okay. Man hits it good, right?
Really stable. Too.
Yeah, it's really stable. So that's the word stability is a lot. We use it a lot in our game these days. So you have a look at the shaft plane on the way down. We saw yours coming sort of through that way, and he's got a little ways to go. We've only just started working with him, probably 3-4 months now. So, but he's a very good ball striker. Period.
Yeah.
Even before I saw him. So we want to try and get you into that sort of stable position rather than sort of... The other thing that you'll notice, you're never going to have to worry about how far you hit it because of the length of your levers. But why do you get here at this point in time here, the narrower it is on the way down, right?
Yeah.
So it will end up narrowing quite considerably to try and match up. That's a bit too far, okay? So that, we just miss it. But that distance between there and there, we really don't want.
Yeah.
We want to get that closer.
Okay.
So we overextend our arms and we lift our arms up because you've moved laterally more than anything. So my focus right now is to get your body in the right place and get your arms to work with your body.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Put that into full motion. That magical word rhythm, it's all pretty good. I don't like to use that word rhythm a great deal, but it's all pretty good.
Yeah.
We just got to get you moving and understanding why.
Yeah.
Okay.